mean, it's we're not accusing anybody of anything, but can we just tell me what the deal was with Loudrop and things like that? Because I know for a fact that Peter Lovenkrands admitted that during the week there, that when he was signed and given an EBT, Dick Advocaat didn't even know about it. Didn't even know about the signing. He just turned up.
Yeah.
And he was, how was that? He said, Brian Laudrup told David Murray, blah, 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 and that was it. So it doesn't take much of a leap, Graham, to think that Murray would say to Laudrup, "It's the same deal as you've got."
Right.
Where this is one contract and here's another. Mm-hmm. Because Lovenkrands, and it just, as I say, it's like Enron. Do you know what I mean? Enron was when that first came about, that was rich assholes spending your money.
Right.
And then the investigation got further and deeper and deeper, and like most investigations, where did it end up? In the White House.
Yeah.
And then it kind of all went away after 9/11 and stuff like that. Watergate was the same. It's like, this fucking goes back for the minute that guy picked up the phone, got the loan to buy the football club, and on it went. And on it went. Do you know what I mean? It was staggering, the levels. And now we're only seeing that the British taxpayer is effectively supposed to pay for all this.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, and stuff. And I'm not going to spoil the film and that, but all this kind of stuff is in the film. Because what the film had to do was, as I said, was condense the entire story into a sizey document. Because, you look at the venues where it's been shown, okay? You cannot show a 2-hour film in these venues. It's too long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a bar. People want to get drinks. They want to go to the toilet. Right. They'll have been drinking 4 or 5 pints before it. They don't want to sit for 2 hours and need a piss. And whereas you can lock people down for 40 minutes and say, sit down, shut the fuck up, get your drinks before it, then go to the toilet and watch this. And then, and that's, by the way, that's exactly what virtually every person who's organised a do thus far has done. They've all instructed everybody, right, you want to get a drink, get a drink. Now you sit down, shut up, then go to the toilet and just watch this. And people get the benefit of that because then it starts to unravel in their mind and they start going down the rabbit hole, and then I come on and answer any questions or queries at things, because one of the things people say to me before was like, you should have DVDs on sale. And I could have sold DVDs out to every single person at that time. But then there wouldn't have been a tour after it, and the worldwide message wouldn't have went out there. Nor would there have been the narrative in the media and stuff like that. Nor will there be the impact of when we do release it worldwide.
And you wouldn't have the opportunity. You wouldn't have the opportunity to have the Q&A session after the film. You'd be inundated with tweets. I just saw your film on DVD, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as I said, an aspect of the Asterisk Years was an opportunity. It was talked about in that song by John Lennon.
Yeah.
They hate you when you're clever and they despise a fool.
Right.
That's the whole thing. It's to keep you scared all your life.
Right.
And so I can announce now a couple of good things. Is that people have been asking about what happens after the tour. I'll tell you what happens right after the tour. After the tour, we're going to stream this video. We're going to stream it online, okay? And we're going to make it free to everybody to see. And the only thing that will be there as a caveat with price will be a donation to the Kano Foundation.
Fantastic.
So if people want to donate £1, £10, £100, £200, £300, whatever, they can donate it. But we'll make sure that everybody in the world can see it by the autumn.
Excellent. That's
that's something that we hope that will, get a few quid in for the Kano Foundation, and nobody can see, when can I see it?
Right.
Because part of this as well is to get people off their arses, out their hooses, and out to meet Celtic supporters and to give the people that run these clubs a turn, and get them a night where they can make a few quid behind the bar and all that kind of thing, and then people are getting too cosy in their fucking computers and their phones and stuff. I mean, we still need to go out there and fight.
Damn right.
And we need, when we get out there and fight, we'll never get out there and fight there on the fucking internet. We can organise stuff on the internet, but the face-to-face contact, this is a face-to-face business. Mm-hmm. And I've got experience in face-to-face businesses. Let me tell you, this is something that needs to be done face-to-face, word by the mouth, and we'll push the envelope back at these fuckers,
Right. Well, and having it live streaming, after the tour is finished, I mean, there's got to be loads of people, like you say, word of mouth. I mean, it is by far the most effective means of marketing, etc. There's loads of people that are going to hear from their mates that went to Irvine, that went to Carluke, that went to the premiere in Glasgow and Nairn, and their mates are telling them all about the film. It's like, oh fuck's sake, I can't believe I missed it. I want to see this, etc., etc. So there's going to be a knock on from that. And, the more that this message can get out and the more that people can be educated and then get together with that education and start talking about, right, what are we going to do? the better the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, and so that hopefully, because we live in an internet age, that you see all these conversations where people will say, so-and-so done this, and somebody will come back and say, no, they're talking shite, then hopefully they just link to the film and say, what's that? You know, and hopefully then they get informed by it. The second thing regarding the Philly Theogram is that, and something I discussed with you previously, was that what we're doing for that is it's going to be $20 entry fee to see the film, but the caveat of that is going to be a donation for each entrance fee that's going to be collected by Yompe is going to go to Alex Lemonade Stand, which is a charity that deals with, specifically in Philadelphia, but in America, deals with childhood cancer, which is something I was asked just between Christmas and New Year to go and meet a guy's son in Ireland who is suffering from cancer, and he's 4-year-old, Graham, and
Jesus,
it's something I'd never experienced in my life, to actually go in that kind of thing. And it just, you know, what really sort of done to me, Graham, was basically like, how lucky are we all?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, you know, I've got illnesses, you've got illnesses and ailments and stuff we have to deal with, every chronic stuff we have to deal with every day. And then you look at this poor fucking kid, 4 years of age, fighting leukemia, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God. And it just really hurt me. And I was just like, so, you know, I discussed with you previously about what a suitable cause would be in Philadelphia, and you said that, and I looked into it and stuff, and I thought that's absolutely perfect. It was almost like I was being reminded, in fact, when I was at that hospital, and just see these kids, and these kids are so brave. I mean, we've seen it with Oscar and all that kind of thing, and I just thought that would be something good today, you know. I mean, $20, boom, and you know, the following day we'll get straight into that Alex Lemonade Stand, and look it up on Twitter and that, because it's amazing charity and on the internet and stuff. Something that I know is close to your heart as well, Graham.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, and when you came to me and you know you asked, I mean, you know, what are some local charities that, you know, would be deserving or worthwhile or et cetera. I mean, look, there's loads of charities out there, but, you know, this one specifically had resonated with me. You know, you talk about the story behind it. And again, I encourage everybody to Google Alex's Lemonade Stand. I mean, this was, you know, something that was central to Philadelphia, but became a nationwide effort and movement, you know, that had so many celebrities and, you know, just big famous people behind it. It's but it was started by a little girl that had neuroblastoma, you know, similar to Wee Oscar, and you know, she started a lemonade stand, as many kids here in America. I don't know, you know, what the sort of dynamic is over in the UK and Ireland, but you know, in the summer it's piping hot. You know, you set up a lemonade stand right at the corner, so people driving by, walking down the street, whatever. You know, they pay you like 50 cents or something, you know, for a cup of lemonade that you put together. But she was trying to raise money for her cancer treatment. She had neuroblastoma. Fortunately, you know, for children in the Philadelphia area, I mean, you have Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is world renowned. You know, we Oscar had gone there, you know, a couple of times. I mean, just phenomenal resources. But, you know, as is the case here in America, and of course, you know, across the world, this sort of treatment is not cheap, you know, but so her effort, you know, setting up the lemonade stand, it started, you know, getting more and more traction, more and more exposure, people understanding what she's trying to do. It was on the news, then all of a sudden national news picks it up, and, you know, to the point where now it is a huge charity, you know, that raises loads and loads of money for children's cancer research, as well as you know, helping with the cost of travel and the cost of treatment for these kids. And you know, it's like you said, it's something that's dear.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just like, you know, I've never really ever wanted to make this tour focused about charity, because then the focus is the daily charity. But when we can do things, we will do things. You know what I mean? It's not a money making. You know, $20. It's the $20 entrance fees basically cover me being at the tour. You know what I mean? I had to pay for the flights and all this kind of thing, and it fucking stacks up. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm going to walk away with a massive profit, and obviously try and cover the cost of the film. But I knew this was something that could be done, and I know the one experience that I could definitely tell you about Americans, my experience is the generosity when it comes to these kind of things, and I knew it was something that would kind of hit home and stuff like that. And I'm really happy to try and help in any way we can. I'll also be bringing books to Philadelphia. I'll be selling them for $10, signed books if people want to buy them and stuff. And really, really looking forward to it. And obviously, there's a couple of other dates in the American tour, Graham. Sebastopol, we were in Jasper O'Farrell's on the 6th of February. That's going to be an experience out in California. Might actually feel some warmth for the first time in about 6 months.
Well, it's actually warm. Sorry to interrupt. It's actually warm in Northern California in the winter. It's, thankfully you didn't go in the summertime. It's a bit like Nairn would be right now. San Francisco in the summer.
I was asking, I said, it'll be freezing. And I went, for fuck. I said, really, what are you talking about? Like, 58, 60. I'm like, okay, that's fucking fine by me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going to be fantastic. And obviously come back to the Bronx. The day after the Bronx, I did a new date recently. We're going up to Boston.
Excellent.
To the Banshee in Boston. James there spoke to me from Boston. We got all that sorted out. So I'm really looking forward to that. Love Boston as a city. I've been there quite a few times, and it's funny because he's kind of like, do you mind coming up on the bus? I'm like, of course I don't mind. You know what I mean? And it's like it takes about 4 hours. I'm like, and I've done that.
You can't send the jet.
Well, I know. It's a bit like I don't know if you've ever read the Steve Martin book, but he's kind of like when he done his first big gig as a comedian, and a limo arrives, and he's just like, "Holy shit, a limousine! This is unbelievable!" Like, and then a year later, he was doing the Hollywood Bowl, and he's like, "Where's the fucking limo?"
Yeah, exactly.
And you kind of hope that you never fucking become like that. But I can see why they do. But I used to go up to Boston quite a lot, and I used to go in the buses for Chinatown in New York. And it was so cheap, it was like $20 a ton and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was great. And of course, Chinese, every angle covered. Stop at a Chinese buffet on the way up there, which obviously they own. But of course, you're fucking starving by that point, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I thought, this is fucking... And the Chinese buffets, it was like, $8 for all you can eat or whatever, right? So it's $28, 4 hours there and back, fed, boom, fucking fun. And I used to be sitting like, this is absolutely brilliant. How can they do this so cheap? And then they all got shut down for drug running. So what basically it was the buses were up front.
Gotta put the cash somewhere.
The tour buses were up front for the fucking getting the drugs between New York and fucking Boston, like, you know what I mean? So that was that. And it was like, because one day it was like, it went to go on to book a flight, and it was like, this website has been shut down by the DEA. Fucking hell, man. So I think it's Greyhound that won this time, so I don't think they're going to get busted for that. So yeah, that's going to be fantastic. And then of course the American leg of the tour ends back in Manhattan at Jack Dempsey's with the Fenian boys. And I'm really looking forward to that. Big Tommy and all the guys there, and of course Frankie will be there and stuff. That's all their crew. So that should be a great night. And then the following day, Graham, I'm on the luxury megabus back to Philly to go home.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing you. And I'm looking forward to hearing all about, the experiences that you have throughout, with all the different tour dates. We'll have to catch up and just sort of get your take and your experience. And there's going to be loads and loads of feedback from people that are going to see this film. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the response is going to be. For more information, check out Paul Larkin on Twitter at PaulLarkin74. For information specifically about the Philadelphia Fela, check out the plowboyscsc.com. That's plowboys spelled PLOUGH BHOYSCSC.com. Has all the information, hotels, where the venue is, times, etc. So if you're on the fence about this, get off the fence and get booked to see this.
I mean, because they've been great. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it yourself, Graham. The photos are sending out and the work they're doing, and all the boys there. I see the footage just of Seamus and Fitzy and Timothy McMahon, all these guys. They're working their arse off right now to make this as good as possible. And something that the East Coast of America, I think, has been dying for. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We talked about how we thought when Celtic went to Philly that time, 2012, this might be the start of something. In reality, it looks like it was the end of something.
Yeah.
This is something now that can become bigger and bigger and deserves a sport. And I mean, at the end of the day, call me old-fashioned, but there are a few things better than being surrounded by Tims in a pub. You know what I mean? This is my heaven.
For an entire weekend, no less. And, in a city that's going to embrace you. I was talking to Yampi about this, where, you walk down the street and I mean, obviously we know Tim's no Tim's, and you can see him from across the street. Somebody yells out Celtic from one side of the street, and then you go, get it going back and forth, and then people that are just walking down the street, they just join in, they don't even care.